Wednesday, the final trading day of the month of April. Welcome everyone to the show. We're just wrapping up the month. It's going to be a public holiday across global markets tomorrow, May the 1st is a Labor Day. But just a quick touch on the markets. Nigeria's telco giant MTN is holding its annual shareholders meeting today. Ahead of that, the stock plunged about 6.07% yesterday, dragging the main index. Of course, if you consider the capitalization of that particular company, finishing 240 naira on the trading board. Investors bought roughly $13 million of MTN shares the day before its earnings will be released to shareholders. That's about 20.93 billion in local currency, and that accounted for roughly 70% of the total turnover on the Nigerian market, $2.6 million. 35.2 billion in local currency on Tuesday. The banking sector went up 1.3%. Insurance better by 0.5%. Consumer goods almost by the same margin. We're looking at about 3% year to date on the index. But you find a few decliners, big names in consumer goods space, such as PZ, Cousins, and FBN Holdings down by 0.2%. And Axisco, however, 1.48% in the green, holding a press briefing later today, Wednesday, on its latest first quarter earnings. We also get further briefing on its acquisitions across other markets, including the acquisitions that the Central Bank of Nigeria has held back for Access Bank by National Bank of 100% National Bank of Kenya, which is part of the deal that we expect to hear today from this big lender. If we look at the rest of the continent, the Nairobi stock market was better by 6 basis points. The Uganda market fell by 4 basis points. The Ghana market up by 0.1%. The BRVM 0.64%. That's quite big, the biggest within the West African space. The EGX30 continued on the green trajectory since Sunday by 9 basis points. The Johannesburg market, the GSE hit a new record high since 2025. Started by 0.65%. Financials, resources and industries were all in the green on Wednesday. Zimbabwe market pulled back by 1.34% despite the 2.3% growth in the agri, financial and ICT sectors. Delta company down by 5.8%, roughly 6%, one of the biggest listed companies on that market. Let's take it into some of the headlines we're tracking today. We're getting news that Kenya is looking to adjust its budget for 2025-2026 on the back of a new deal being worked out with the International Monetary Fund, trying to extend that olive branch to with Washington-based institutions after President Ruto came back from China securing deals, investment deals from Beijing. The electricity company listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange says it's reviving that 31 billion shillings private-public partnership power plant project, which was dumped due to a protest with Adani, the Indian company exiting that project. Now, Kenya Electricity Company says it's going to go that alone and find other partners. The European Union is looking to finance Uganda's 52 gigawatts electricity goal by the year 2020. And Perseus of Australia says it's committing roughly $500 million to gold projects in Tanzania that will deepen Tanzania's size of mining or extractive industry. President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda says he's meeting with officials of Starlink owned by Elon Musk to discuss the entry of a company doing internet broadband business across Africa. And the Swiss says he's got a 200 million euros on the table as a 5-year contract for clean water in Gabon. Those are the headlines around the East African markets. Let's look at West Africa headlines. Commodities prices are expected to slump 12% this year, according to the World Bank latest report released on Tuesday. Good news for Nigeria, however, because cocoa exports up 24% year on year for the month of March, according to data, a news released by Bloomberg on Tuesday. 27,564 metric tons was Nigeria's total cocoa exports for the month of March, and that puts Nigeria as the number 5 largest cocoa producer in the world. Seplat Energy reporting a very bumper first quarter numbers, revenue up 350%, roughly that, according to this company listed on both the London and Lagos stock exchanges, year-on-year basis. Cash generated from its operations was $6.5 million. Adjusted EBITDA, $401 million. Interim dividend for the first quarter, $4.06 to shareholders. The company further said its 2025 guidance remain on track as far as production of oil and gas is concerned. Those are the numbers. Looking to hear more from Seplat Energy in the days ahead. Still in the West African region, Liberia's Electricity Commission and Gensa Energy says they're looking at 270 megawatts power plant in the Buchanan area of Liberia. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger Republic, the 3 rebellious sovereign nations formerly in ECOWAS, says they're now turning to Morocco to access the Atlantic trade routes because the countries on the southern corridor are all within the ECOWAS region. So they are delinking, as it were, from the southern corridor of the ECOWAS and making pipeline to take their exports through the Atlantic Ocean through Morocco. And that is the latest. They, of course, remember Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger got a military junta leadership for the last year or so, and they've been making moves to move out of the rest of the ECOWAS region. MTN Ghana reporting earnings for first quarter, 1.7 billion. Ghanaian Cedis first quarter profit that was boosted by earnings from data and mobile money operations. Great things. Let's go to Southern Africa. What is this making the markets? Global markets are expected to settle down after the tariff chaos by President Trump, and that's according to Goldman Sachs CEO Solomon in an interview with Bloomberg. Eskom says it's resuming borrowing after that 254 billion rand government debt relief is coming to an end. But the troubled utility giant says it's going to keep those new fresh borrowings tight and really small and won't drag it into further debt morass, as it were. Mozambique is looking to invest roughly 200 million euros in rail upgrades across the country by the year 2030. And reporting on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, CBZ Holdings, which is the parent company of CBZ Bank and other financial services company, says its total income was 1.4 billion Zimbabwean ZiG currency for the first quarter ended March. Profit after tax 537.5 million ZiG, while loans and advances was 8.4 billion local currency. And finally, in Southern Africa, Namibia and oil firms must act very quickly on fiscal stability to get oil discovery up and running in the Southern African economy. And that's according to NJ Ayuk, the executive chairman of the African Energy Chamber. Let's sum it up in the Northern Africa, Northern Corridor, as always. Egypt says it's launched 2 recycling projects with a 1.7 billion Egyptian pounds, this local currency investment, while the central bank there says about $1.17 billion was what was taken from investors for from his dollar-denominated treasury bills auction. That's quite a chunk of money on the table. And UK's Standard Chartered has officially opened a new branch in Casablanca. That's Morocco's iconic city for finance, tourism, and investment. And Algerian State Bank, BNA, says it's doubled its structured capital to $2.27 billion US dollars. And finally, the European Investment Bank, or EIB, is boosting Tunisia's water sector with 30 million euros in funding facility. And those are the headlines as we wrap up the market for the month of April. Hope it's been a profitable month for you so far. It's a holiday tomorrow, so lay back, everyone, and let's get together again on Frontier Opening Bell. Do have a great holiday, everyone. Bye for now.